Good afternoon. I'm here to speak to you from the city of Bardstown and give you an update on local and state actions regarding the plans and how we're dealing with the COVID-19 outbreak. Yesterday here at the city, we announced that we are going to discontinue the practice of disconnecting people who are not up to date with their bill paying on their utilities. In other words, we won't be disconnecting people who can't pay their utilities over the next 60 days, and we'll revisit it here in 60 days. The one thing, though, we do want to clarify, though, is for people to understand they're going to waive disconnect fees and reconnect fees and penalties and that sort of thing. We are not, this is not a 2-month free service period for people who are on our city utilities. So just want people to understand that. And we're just doing our part. We're going to work with you as best we can to make sure that you have adequate utilities. Also, here at the city, we are working with our school systems, and we are turning on more hotspots for internet connectivity throughout the town, and we're working on an app that you'll be able to access to find where these hotspots are. We know that connectivity at this time is very important, not only to students, but everyone who is working remote at their homes. We know many of you are doing that right now. So just want you to know we're doing everything we can to help keep connectivity up to what the demand is. Also today I've issued an executive order to change the temporary sign regulations in our City of Bardstown sign ordinance. Obviously with the change in the restaurants even being asked to only provide drive-through or home delivery or takeout service or curbside service, that's a major change. And so for all businesses, we're changing our temporary sign rules until we get back to normal business practices. And what that is we're going to allow all businesses to have 2 temporary signs going forward within the city limits. And I'll cover just a few of the items. We'll have more detail on our website, and we'll be releasing information to the media here later today, but I'll cover just some of the highlights of this change. I know some of the businesses had already started making temporary signs to let people know that they're open during this time period and that they are providing home delivery and takeout services and so forth. But each business will have 2 additional temporary signs. This includes building signs, banners, and sandwich boards. Not permanent signs, these will be temporary signs. The signs can't be in the public right-of-way. That's always the case, whether it's a city, county, or state situation. They can't exceed 7 feet in height. Some of the height restrictions and side restrictions have to do with safety. The maximum size of the face of each sign will be 18 square feet, meaning if it's a 2-sided sign, it could be 3 by 6 on both sides. If it's a sandwich board, the faces are up to 16 square feet. That's a 4 by 4 size sign on each face of a sandwich board. In the historic district, which is primarily downtown, the sandwich boards need to be adjacent to the building so that you don't impede the public right-of-way and the pedestrian traffic. So at the end of the day, when this changes, all the signs, these temporary signs, will have to be removed within 1 week of us going back to normal. But we'll be releasing more detail on this afternoon on our website, so stay tuned. I just did a conference call with mayors from all over Kentucky with Governor Beshear here earlier today, and I just want to share some of the comments and questions that were on the conference call, comments from the governor and some of my own observations from that call. But obviously the message is we still need to all be working together. These steps that have been taken, a lot of the closures particularly are drastic steps, but the main goal still is to protect the health of the public, particularly our most vulnerable citizens. We are obviously facing a couple of major challenges, and of course the first one and the foremost one is we must defeat this virus. Secondly, as we get into the recovery stage, it's going to be to rebuild and start our economy again. We know we're in for a major change and upset in our economy with all the drastic measures that have been taken thus far. We know that there are going to be more and more cases of the virus in all our communities, so you just can't be surprised about that. Some questions are still out there about particularly about the restaurants and maybe like liquor stores that are permitted to have carryout service. People can go into those businesses for carryout. However, there cannot be a congregating, and you must practice the social distancing of 6 feet when you're in a carryout situation. Of course, the delivery service and drive-through, those speak for themselves, but the governor wanted to explain that. So if you have a call in to a restaurant, you can go in and pick it up, but you can't congregate. Obviously, you can't consume the products on premises. Again, just trying to practice the social distancing. Local authorities, we've been asked to carry out the executive order of Governor Beshear. And, obviously this is not personal. This is not something that we are doing to attack anybody's particular business. We are just being asked to enforce the governor's executive order. So we will be doing so when necessary. And mainly, everybody needs to try to remain calm during this time. I know everybody is stressed out. We all got a lot on our minds, but we need to be calm, and we need to be cooperating, and we need to show compassion. We can't be antagonistic and in opposition and trying to tear down everything that's been put in place, because we won't get through this unless there's cooperation among all of us. Governor Beshear reported that we don't have details right now on the financial packages that have been voted on by Congress, but as soon as they do have details, certainly they will be sharing them with us. For instance, the state has made the application to the Small Business Administration for getting funding to administer small business administration loans to businesses. But we don't have any more details other than the state has requested those funds. People want to know, our city parks open. Obviously, we've had to close our indoor recreation opportunities, but the city parks are open. Again, though, the social distancing and crowd gathering rules are in place, so you can't all show up at one of our city parks and play basketball games or soccer games or baseball games. I wish it was different, but those constitutes large gatherings of 10 or more. But you can take your children there and just be diligent. As long as everybody's healthy, you can take your children there to play on the equipment that we have, or take a walk with your dog or your family. Again, just got to practice the social distancing in that regard. I would ask you to check out the City of Bardstown's website. There's a link right here that tells you all the restaurants that are participating in the delivery and drive-through and pickup and curbside. There's a wealth of latest news and information that you can find. We're constantly updating those each and every day. I have to thank Hannah Bowman, our communications director, who is taking care of all this on our behalf and working with multiple agencies, not only here at the City of Bardstown, but throughout the county. And the last thing I need to say is, again, I want to thank everybody for their support and their cooperation. And just continue to be diligent and be safe. Thank you very much.